So I'm just walking next to the Micalong Creek. Up ahead of me is Barrois Campsite. Part of why I wanted to make the trip out here from Tumut to this particular location was because Hovell wrote about wombat burrows, and I haven't seen a wombat burrow in a long time, and I haven't been walking for very long, but I think that might be one behind me. I really hope it is. That's got to be a wombat burrow. Definitely no one living in this wombat burrow unless they wanted a swimming pool. And another one. Yeah, I think I might stop filming all the wombat burrows now because definitely a lot around. So on the 29th of October 1824, Hume and Hovell had continued on from where we were yesterday at Fitzpatrick Track Head. That was the general vicinity. They got up in the morning and were brought up by a creek with perpendicular banks. They thought they could see a way to get through the mountains from there. They are black cockatoos. I don't know if you got them in the background. I don't know if you can hear them either, but they're having a little chat. He wrote, "This is the place we had seen in the morning at sunrise, and which we thought had an opening between the mountains and would be favourable for us to get to the westward. But we soon found our mistake. And the only alternative we had now left was to face the first mountain we thought easiest to ascend." So they did a lot of zigzagging and got quite fatigued, especially the bullocks, because they were carrying heavy loads by now. So they ended up having to continue along the range, and then they came across a fine running stream of cold water, which they found quite refreshing because it was a hot day. And this is where he mentions on Saturday the 30th of October, he mentions, "We yesterday passed through a small forest full of wombat holes. And again this morning we passed through another. This is evident proof of the soils being good and light." So that's why I'm excited. I'm really hoping I see a wombat. He also notes around this area on the 30th of October, "Here I find the want of the mountain barometer, which I broke a few days before leaving home." I'm having a standoff with something. There's something moving towards me, so I've moved out of the way, hoping it might continue on its trajectory, but it's not moving now. Alright, so it's not a wombat. It's a reptile. It looks like a carpet python, and it's still sitting there waiting for me to go away. I waited a while, but it stayed there. So I'm not going this close. This is me holding my camera on its stick. Another part of why I wanted to come to this spot is because this is probably the closest I'll ever get to corroboree frog habitat, and I know I'm not likely to see one, but I might. So the Barrois campsite is behind me. That was named after Claude Barrois, who was the man who pushed the perambulator all the way. Now that wouldn't have been such an enjoyable task because it wasn't easy country to traverse, let alone be pushing a wheel the whole way trying to take measurements. So good on him for that. Apparently the other men began to call it Claude's wheelbarrow and give him a bit of tongue-in-cheek, I believe. So I'm leaving this part of the Hume and Hovell Track now to go on to Thomas Boyd Track Head. And I didn't get to see a wombat, but I'm really pleased I got to see the wombat burrows that he wrote about in his journal. When I first read that in his journal, I thought, wow, I really want to see that. And now I have.